has nothing to do with where you are now. You make new choices in this moment, in this day, your whole life can change.
Join us right now live on HSN. It's Tony Robbins. And here he is, Tony Robbins. Hey,
nice
buddy.
Good
to see you again. We're going to have a great final hour.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for being here. And thanks to your wife and the whole team for opening up your home and letting us invade a little bit. But, you know, this hour we've all been anticipating. And my friends on Facebook are so excited about it. And we've got some special people literally texting me who said, I want to talk to Tony. I'm like, call in. You can do it. But, you know, Tony, I want to take it back because, you know, we sit here in your beautiful home and your surroundings and people say, well, that's easy. Look, oh, his life's so great. I literally want to take you back to the moment you left your house when you were 17. And I know it's an intimate question, but what happened? Why in the world did you leave home?
Well, I had a very passionate mom. I love her dearly. She's since passed. And I never talked about her in advance when she was still alive in this era, but she was addicted to alcohol and also addicted to prescription drugs, and she would get very violent. And I'm the oldest of three. My brother and sister are 5 and 7 years younger than I am. And so I had to try to protect them. So I would get liquid soap poured down my throat till I threw up. I would have my head bashed against the wall. And I don't say that to be gross or grotesque, but I never even shared this until about 4 or 5 years ago. I was with Oprah with a group of kids who were physically abused, and I was telling them, you can make it, you can do this. And I realized I was looking at this big white guy who's, you know, now quite successful in business and finance, and they couldn't relate. And so I told them the whole story. It's the first time I'd ever revealed it. And I don't spend time on it normally. You ask me about it, I'm happy to tell you. But what it really did is it made me understand suffering, because I suffered so much. I don't want anybody to suffer. I mean,
and your family was not wealthy.
No, we were very poor. We had no money for food. It's one of the reasons why, you know, tonight, so you know, this program is the best program I have. You guys have put it on Easy Pay for, you know, $39. So, you know, for less than a cup of coffee a day, you can get a $1,000 program. It's take it for a month and send it back if you don't want it. But I'm also donating 100% of the profits, as I did last time we're here. Every penny is going to Feeding America, because I feed 100 million people a year the last 2 years in a row. I'm going to feed 1 billion people over the next 8 years. It's one of my pure passions, because my family was fed when I was 11. So I've had 2 families, and then 4, then 8, 100,000, 1 million. And the other thing we're doing, the other half of this is going to the Underground Railroad, because this month is Anti-Slavery Month. It's a passion for me. Children, boys and girls, being locked up in slavery and forced to do sexual acts is insane. And this group is former CIA, FBI, and special forces. They come in and trap these guys. They free 8, 9, and 10-year-old girls, to give you an idea, and boys. And so all the money tonight is going to that. So last time I was here, it was $500,000 that we donated. We freed 200 children. We fed 2.5 million people, because I put matching funds in. And we're going to do the same thing as of tonight, because it looks like we're going to hit our numbers again, which is pretty beautiful.
100% of the net profit, he's not making any money in this, goes to those 2 organizations. How thrilling is that? Because you think tonight you're helping yourself, but not only are you doing that and you're going to help yourself in a big way, is you're helping so many others. I'm going to ask you one last question, just because I think people do watch and they say, oh, he doesn't understand. The moment you left your house, I mean, can you share that very moment when you never went back?
You know, my mom chased me out with a knife. I knew she wouldn't kill me or hurt me, and I'd gone from, I was 5'1" in high school, and I grew 10 inches in a year. So I became, at that point, I think it was like 6'3", 6'4". And I just said, I'm not going back. But what came out is I slept on the mountaintop, and then it rained. I slept in a person's laundry room. And then what I did was I started going and reading initially. I took the little bit of money I had. I worked as a janitor, still in high school. And I work in the middle of the night and take buses. And I would find the power of reading, because I would think I had this horrible life, and then I'd read these biographies of some of the smartest and most brilliant leaders in the world, or an Oprah or anyone of that nature, and you see their life was horrible. That's why they became who they became. And so it kind of changed for me. I began to realize. And then I started listening to audios, and you mentioned earlier, I used to go to this place in Los Angeles. Yes, you got a man named Mario, this Jewish man who owned this little corner spot where he sold cassette tapes of all the different speakers in the world. And I would save my money as a janitor, making, you know, $150, and I'd pour 60% of that into buying these. And I just fed my mind. So I'm a product of all this. Well, and it's been 40, this will be my 40th year next month doing this with people from all over the world. And I've had the chance to work in 100 countries with 100 million people. And
here's what I love. I'm just going to quote Mario, because this is one of the most moving stories. I thought the one thing he said, and again, we'll move on from this. I just want to bring home that if you watch him and you see him and you're like, oh, wow, you know, It's a whole deep, long, brilliant story. But the Mario said, I love this. He said, and he's kind of an old man when you recorded him. He was
he's in his
81 when I heard the recording. And he said he didn't have money for tapes, and actually you bounced a check. The whole point of me sharing these.
Oh, but he also said I brought the tapes back, and that's what he's impressed by. And I said, I will come pay for these when I can. I didn't mean to bounce it. And he goes, you can take them. I said, no. And I came back and I got them. And he always remembered that. He said I was this fat little kid, he tells people, who just wouldn't give up. And, you know, so it's really nice to hear his story of seeing what I was like back as a, you know, a young man. Yeah,
and the reason I even bring this up is because I really want everyone to understand, because sometimes we don't get to hear those intimate stories, how really you do understand. You really get it.
I was so depressed. I brought myself to the edge multiple times. I felt like there was no way to fight my way out. I had no role models. So when people are feeling suffering, I am called to solve that, because I'm not thinking of it intellectually. You know, in 2008, when all these people are losing their homes or losing half their net worth, I mean, it made me crazy. That's why I wrote Money Master of the Game. I said, I'm going to go interview 50 of the smartest people in the world and bring those answers. So this entire Ultimate Edge program is the best answers, because I believe success leaves clues. If someone is successful financially, they're not lucky. They're doing something different than you. And if you sow the same seeds, if you take the same actions, you'll get the same rewards. There's a man in here that I talk about in the program who he never made more than $14,000 a year in his annual income. He worked as a driver for UPS. His name's Theodore Johnson. And when he retired, he took what I applied here, and he was worth $70 million, never making more than $14,000 a year. And he gave away $35 million while he was alive. So, I mean, there are tools that can change your life. If someone has lost weight and kept it off for 10 years, 20 years, they're not lucky. They're doing something different than you. If someone has got this passionate relationship, they're not lucky. So I've spent literally 40 years of my life finding the very best, putting in a format that's playful and fun and easy, and then it's just one little audio a day. You know, look at all this. Just say I'm going to do one audio a day over basically 21 days, and you're doing it while you're driving in your car, you do it while you're working out, or you do it while you're cleaning your house, and use net time, no extra time, to change your whole life. So tonight you'll hear, I'm sure, a lot of people calling in, sharing great stories, but make it your story. Don't wait. If this is a new year and you want a new life, a new you, call me right now and let me start to be your coach, and you can do it for $39. And most people would give $39 to help a child out of slavery or feed somebody. That's where all the money's going, but you're getting the benefit.
And here's kind of what we're doing tonight. I do want to mention FlexPay, because you brought it up. We make it super easy. This is kind of our part, the HSN part of it. What you do is we accept any major credit card or PayPal, and you get to spread it out over, in this case, 5 months, and then you pay it off. Here's what I like the best. It's free shipping, so really today you're only spending $39.80, okay? And you're spending it on you and helping others, which I think is the coolest thing ever. But what's neat about this is you have 30 days. All I say is open the box, open the box, put one disc in. Even after the very first disc, if you're not going, wow, I need to hear more, I want to hear more, wow, I got to dive into this, I want to hear what he has to say, I want to learn more, then if that doesn't happen, you send it back and we will give you a full refund. So there's absolutely nothing to lose, and there's everything literally in your life 360 to gain. How cool is that? It just makes that commitment to say, you know what, I'm worth it, I'm going to do that. And at the same time, you're absolutely helping others. Tony is not making one single penny on anything that he sells at HSN through this series. So I think it's so neat and such a great opportunity for all of us. I want to go into Becky first right away.
Wonderful.
We're going to grab Becky, and she's joining us from New York. Hi, Becky. You're on with Tony. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, it's great to be with you, Tony and Suzanne.
Nice to meet you, Becky.
Yeah, so
tell us, do you have my program, and what was your life like before? What did you change? Where are you today? What shifted for you? I'd be curious to know.
Yeah, I absolutely do have your program, and I've attended a couple of your seminars, and it's, you know, literally changed my life. So just a few things. I'm listening to you guys talk about the tape set and everything that's in there, and I just want to say that there's so many great things, because this tape set has so many things that helped me. For instance, there's tapes on relationships, there's there's DVDs, there's CDs in it, and there's stuff on money, on relationship, on how to handle all this personal stuff that we go through. And you know, I'm a professional, and you know, my life really, before I started doing all this stuff, was, you know, you would think was fine. And I really didn't want to look at some of the things that were going on, and everything I just kind of, drudged along like everything was great. And then I realized that there was a lot of things that I really needed to change because, I've been married for 20 years almost, and the spark just didn't seem to be there like it once was. And in these tapes, when, you do a lot of stuff talking about relationships, and I realized that there was a lot of things that I wanted